Hi everyone, my name is MichelleSpiegel and I'm with Century 21 Judge Fight here in Arlington, Texas. And today I have as my guest Mayra Valadez with Cardinal Financial.
Hi everybody.
Today we're talking about pros and cons of when you get to the point where you're ready to get a mortgage, where you're ready to get a loan, and there's some things you want to have in mind moving up to that process. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the pros, excuse me. Yeah. Okay, when it's time to apply for a mortgage, what are some good ideas?
So you want to be able to prepare, starting now, saving for your down payment and your closing cost. That is really important for you to, even if you're not going to need it down the road, you want to be able to have some reserves to show the lender that you have money in the bank or retirement.
Okay, cool. Now, down payment assistance, I've heard that that's available, so how does that work?
Yes, so down payment assistance, we facilitate all of that for you. If you qualify, there's a couple requirements. You do have to have a 620 credit score. The funds come from the state of Texas, so there's a lot of programs that the state of Texas assists with that can be up to 5% of your closing cost. So that's a big help when it comes to a big purchase. You want to be able to see if you qualify for that, but then also don't stop saving because you may need some of those funds as well.
Right, and so that brings me to my next question. A lot of people, when they're thinking about buying a home, they actually are just thinking that they need down payment money, but they also need money for closing costs. So can you kind of go into what those elements are?
Yes, so on an FHA loan, you'll need about 3.5%. That's the minimum down payment. For conventional, if you're a first-time buyer, it's 3%. And then if you have owned a house within the last 3 years, it's a 5% down payment on a conventional loan. So aside from the down payment, you also have closing costs. You have your title fees. You have the fees that the lender charges to process your loan. And then we also collect for taxes and insurance if you will be escrowed. So that's the portion, your payment will include your taxes, your insurance, your principal and interest. So we lump all that into your closing costs. So that's what's all involved in that.
Okay, great. That's awesome information. So let's talk about, I know that debt to income ratio, a lot of times when people are talking about their debts, they don't understand that debt to income ratio is different. Can you kind of explain that?
Yes, so your debt to income is very important. When we're looking at a loan, you cannot exceed a certain percentage. So we are looking at what your income is versus the debts that you have on your credit. So we're looking at all your monthly liabilities. Do you have a car payment? Do you have credit cards? So it's really important that in this time of preparation, if you have some credit cards that you can pay them off. And don't stop using them, but use them for small purchases, $20 here and there, and pay them every month. So it's not for the purpose of not having activity, it's just to eliminate some of that debt. Because if you have a large car payment, or if you have a large credit card payment, that is factored into your debt to income. So it's making your debts higher, which will potentially have you qualify for less. So the less debt that you have, the more that you will qualify for, and the more buying power that you'll have.
Okay, so that brings us to the cons part of
Yes.
What not to do when you're getting ready to go into the mortgage process. So the first one, I think, is talk about jobs.
Yes, job stability is very important. When a lender is looking at your loan application, we're looking at the overall risk. How much risk is it to lend to this person? So if you have had 5-6 jobs in the last year, it doesn't show much stability. So you want to be able to keep your current job as long as you can and show that stability, because that really does strengthen your file to show that you've been at a job or even in that industry. If you're thinking about moving to another industry, wait until after closing, after you have already settled into your home to make that change. But anything that's a big change as far as a job change, try not to do that prior to submitting your application.
Okay, right, and that's because at the closing table, when you close and sign the documents, until it's funded, it's really not closed. So if you go out and buy something the day before because you think it's not going to show up because you're closing the next day, they pull it that day
Yes.
of closing. So no surprise purchases that way.
Yes.
Which brings us to cars. A lot of people, when they get a new home, they're thinking, ooh, I need a brand new car to go into that brand new house. What do you say about that?
Don't do that. One of the things is, especially when you're preparing, if you don't have a car payment, don't go buy a new car, because that does affect not only your debt to income, but then also you're making a large purchase, which may drop your score. Anytime that you go purchase a car, it will drop your score. Eventually it will raise it over time, but you don't want to have that affect your possibility of qualifying. And then you also don't want that large monthly payment that will affect your buying power. If you're looking for a certain price range, that large car payment may affect you.
Right, exactly. And same thing with furniture. I find a lot of people want to go out and buy furniture.
Yes, although it's exciting to go and shopping right away, no, you don't want to make any large purchases during the loan process. Try to keep no credit inquiries, anything like that that's going to drop your score. So try to avoid all of that until after you close.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all the questions that I had. So obviously we're talking in general terms, and so your financial situation might be different. It really depends on the size of the home that you're looking to purchase, that kind of thing. So if you're looking a year from now wanting to purchase a house, get with me and Mayra, and she can go through the numbers with you and say, hey, this is what you're looking at for down payment, this is what you're looking at closing costs, and kind of do a real world analysis for you, so that in a year from now you'll be better positioned than other people who aren't preparing and just scrambling to try and get a house. So prepare now. I know a year sounds like a long time, but actually it goes by very fast, and there's so many things, significant things that you can do to put yourself in a better position. So again, my name is Michelle and this is Mayra, Century 21 Judge Fight, Cardinal Financial. If you have any questions at all, please let us know. I'd love to help you. Mayra would love to help you.
Yes.
And that's about it. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye.